Hi everyone, Francisco here, and I just wanted to talk about PVC homes. The most, probably the most affordable homes that you guys can ever think of. I mean, that's a possibility, right? Think about it. Think about it. I think it's awesome. But like, everything has its pros and cons, And we have to think about all that. The pros and cons. And we also have to consider the fact that it doesn't get rusted. PVC does not get rusted like metal. It doesn't erode. But I was thinking, since we have cameras, we have sensors, we can have sensors on the walls of the PVC. So in order for us to keep an accurate temperature of this building, so in order to ensure for ourselves on our phones that it's not over exceeding a certain temperature, so it won't like melt, but it could melt. And if so we have to think about the pros and cons. And then if there's a fire, it will melt. It will get destroyed. So like I said, we have to think about the pros and cons. So one like a good way to do this would be to like maybe bury it underground. So like if there is a fire, hopefully the fire will just pass, over it. Like a forest fire or something like that. Which is actually a better way to build now that I think about it, because now you can use that extra space for other things, other stuff, like growing plants or something. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not trying to like overcomplicate everything. And it probably wouldn't be wise to like grow right above it besides like grass or something. Not plants, like big plants. Um Also, we can always install like fiberglass windows from like the inside or something. So like during the day the sunlight will go in. I remember seeing I seen a glass house, and it was like really just nothing but glass. The majority of it. So like even clear PVC will probably work, because there is such a thing as clear PVC. But There's a potential that it could break because PVC does break. Like if it falls, if someone drops a PVC pipe, then it could break. So imagine, like a big, humongous PVC pipe, the size bigger than a semi truck. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, we would have to and I'm not talking about some ghetto ass shit. I'm talking about following and setting guidelines and restrictions, like building codes, like any other home. Like, okay, like putting paving stones down. They say you have to put some stones down. Then you have to put down, a certain amount of sand. And then you can put the paving stones on top. So it would be something like that to create that, to put that round tube like on the dirt or on the sand or whatever. And then filling that with like some concrete on the inside of the PVC layer, the tube, and it will resist or it will be strong enough, durable enough to withstand the pressure of snow and stuff like that as well. And you guys out there will be able to cook inside because there's air vents and electricity technology that can cool the PVC down if it starts getting a little bit too hot or whatever the case may be. But it's just an idea, and I was just thinking about it. And obviously, I'm thinking about like the best possible approaches, possible, not something dangerous, like anything that has to do with like retaining walls, wall retainers, like those are dangerous because the dirt can cave in and stuff like that. But I'm thinking like like a tube with like a 45-degree angle, and then it goes back in, so it can go. So the top section could act like the garage. Then there will be something there like some wood or something, and like a wall, and then you'll go down into your house, your living quarters. And obviously thinking about ventilation and a lot of other stuff, and not, going about it unprofessionally. And it's kind of like mentally, it's kind of like creating like a video game, like a whole new level of homes and a whole new community of homes, kind of like Sim City, kind of like that, but instead of the wooden homes, it will be like PVC type of homes. And of course, it won't be weird or anything, and it won't be like, it will be professional. Because even our homes now, the ones that we're surrounded with, there's some that are new, they don't have any problems. And then we see some that are just broken down, they've been burned down. A lot of different things. Like we see sheds that are half standing, half almost broken, like falling apart. And that's all over the world. That's all over the world. So, it's just something that we can think of, you know? Because, like, just think about it. Like, we won't even have to think about the roofs, you know? There's so many people, like, neighbor down the street here, he just paid. I don't know if he paid, but I seen some guys over there installing a roof, new roof shingles and stuff. I mean, we all know that's not cheap. So with the PVC, it will act like the walls, it will act like the roof. We know it's 100% water proof because we use it to transfer water from, one place to another place or places or whatever the case may be for irrigation. So, there's different approaches. And honestly, I seen one episode of like Tiny, I think it was called Tiny Living, Big Living. Tiny Living, Big Living. I think that's what the title was on this particular episode. But my whole point of bringing that up is that I seen that some people created a house out of like a shipping container, like a big shipping container. And I think it's awesome that someone did that. They're very creative to think about that. And there's a lot of paints out there that they sell that once painted it will prevent rust and stuff. But and then there's the other factors that we have to consider which are not good, like the paint breaking down over time and we're breathing that in, and it can cause physical problems later on down the line, whether the doctors detect it or not. So I'm assuming that the PVC will probably be the best approach. but I'm not certain, and I'm not like an expert or anything. I'm just rethinking. Like, think about like a room. Think about a room. Think how think how big it is. So imagine having one humongous PVC pipe delivered on your property, installed, and you can move in immediately thereafter. No no construction codes. It's just one inspection. Okay, we're signing off on this one, definitely. This one's really good. And then, just getting the water, electricity connected, and you're good to go. Maintenance? What maintenance? Honestly, it's beautiful. I think it is, personally. And there's a bunch of patterns that we could come up with. A bunch of patterns. Like, holy shit. I'm looking at my star. The 5-pointed star. But I have some over here that I made out of concrete. And I'm just thinking, what if someone created one like that, and then every single little peak, the point, will be a room, and then which will then create I think it's an octagon in the center of that, which will be for like the living room, the kitchen, and then one of the other little pointed things will be for the garage. So I think that would be super cool. Let me see if I could paint a better illustration of that for all of you to kind of know what I'm talking about. So this is my star that I made out of concrete, and I'm just going to use it to draw on, like the star, the shape. Okay, like that, right? And then this can be one room. This can be another room. This can be another room. Room. And then finally, the garage. And basically, this will be the driveway. So they would come in and park the cars in here. Like that. And then they will walk around here. They could use this to have some, some shelves for their tools and stuff. They could put more racks right here. Oh, the washer and dryer. And then some other ones over here for like other stuff. And then this will be the door. And then oh yeah, every room will have a door. But they don't necessarily have to be in the center. They could be off-center. So, like even this can be divided. This can be like the living room with a television set. This over here can be like the kitchen. Right here. So they'll come in. This is the garage. These are bedrooms. The living room, kitchen. That type of stuff. Oh no, and it's not an octagon, actually. It's a different shape. And I would have to look it up to see which shape it is. But that would definitely be different than this idea. And then, so this will be the garage, and then you have a 45-degree angle, and then it will go into the ground. So only this here will be visible, and then this is where the people will park their cars. And then there'll be another one over here for another car. Or a truck or whatever. And then this will be like the door. And then they would walk down. And basically it'll be like another setup like the star one. But something like this. So this will be the driveway. And basically it will lead to this. And then this will take you guys down underground. So this is all underground. Except and basically this here is just a tube like this, but I cut a 45-degree angle right there, which then leaves it like that. So that could be made out of like PVC, right? Especially those houses out there that are like worth like $6 million. Like, come on. Sell the piece of shit house and invest in something like this. Destroy it. Pay someone to just demolish, demolition, destroy it. And then build something like this. If code permits. If not, then you're going to need to go somewhere to build, because this is a custom home, so you would have to go somewhere where you'll be able to build your custom home. But like, I think this underground one is pretty good. It's pretty cool. Mainly because like no one can see it. And stuff like that, It's hidden. And it doesn't even have to be like this. It could be like a fucking, like a Frodo house. Bobo Baggins. Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit. The Habit. The Hobbit. My precious Smeagol's. And, stuff like that. I think it would be super cool. And I even posted this PVC idea online on my Instagram account. I just threw it up there. Like, hey guys, check this out. Because we're getting smarter. We're not getting dumber. I don't know if you guys have realized that or not. And I'm sure everyone has. Like, just look around. Go online. There's so many inventions out there. I'm talking about so many. I mean, just think about it. We would get lost trying to learn every single one of them. There's just too much for us to learn. Especially since there's 8 million people in the world. 8 million. No, not 8 million. I think it's 8 billion with a B. 8 billion people. That's a whole lot of people. 8 billion people. And the great thing about this idea is that we can install windows right above, like some the skylights. Skylights. And even some windows, like a house, like a regular house, a wooden house. You know, if anything, so they could act like, escape routes in case of a fire or something. But this will allow ventilation, and also it will allow the light during the day to enter, which I think will be super cool. And then obviously outside of that, you guys will have some tiny little baby little PVC pipes for your sprinkler system. Tiny compared to this big humongous one. Then people would really call me a river rat. Because that's exactly what I am. I'm a rat that lives near a river. I'm like a bottom feeder that eats nothing but shit. Because I'm a piece of shit. You get it? But I think it will be pretty cool though. I mean, and people can say whatever they want. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Doesn't hurt mine's. So plus, like, what would you guys rather do? Pay a